Hong Kong Direct is your weekly racing roundup full of news, views, previews, interviews and special guests. And coming up on a jam-packed show today, Group 1 racing returns to Sha Tin, headlined by Golden 60. He goes in the Stewards Cup. We'll hear from Vincent Ho very shortly. The Centenary Sprint Cup, well, whoever wins this will be a first Group 1. We don't have a Group 1 winner in the field, but it's a Group 1 contest. Wishful thinker, can he repeat his great run on International Day? And the Hong Kong Classic Mile, of course, won by Golden 60 last year. Who'll put their name on the honour roll this time round? We'll look at that in part 2 of the show. Very warm welcome to the show. I'm Andrew Le Jeune, joined this week by Leo Schlink and Ed Sadler as well. Ed, a regular on the show. We'll get to Leo in a second. Big weekend, lots of anticipation. Can't wait to get back amongst it. Yeah,
it's an exciting weekend coming up. It's one that we've been counting down to for a little while. Our first taste of Group 1 racing here in Hong Kong in 2020, and 3 fascinating races. I know, Andrew, the Hong Kong Classic Mile isn't a Group 1, but it is in prize money and chock full of talent there as well. Golden 60, can he make it 12 in a row when he lines up in the Stewards Cup? And the Centenary Sprint Cup, as you said, no Group 1 winners in it. It is a wide open contest.
It certainly is. And Leo, welcome to Hong Kong Direct as well. The racing editor here at the Hong Kong Jockey Club, former chief racing writer at the Herald Sun in Melbourne. So recent import here to Hong Kong. Hopefully you're enjoying things and looking forward to the weekend's action.
It's been fantastic, Andrew. Thank you. It's an amazing looking meeting at the weekend, as Ed has pointed out, and a fascinating 4-year-old race. It is so full of depth, and then getting to see Golden 60. I've seen him only a couple of times so far in Hong Kong, and then of course the sprint race. There's a lot to look forward to.
There certainly is. All right, we'll get Ed and Leo's thoughts in a moment or so. Let's look at the lineup, the runners and riders, though, for the Stewards Cup. This is a Group 1 over the 1,600 metres with Golden 60, now a Group 1 winner as well after winning the mile on International Day. Southern Legend finished second to him, 2 lengths behind. White Cuckoo, he was first up in that race back in December. He finished fourth. Rise High returns to action since, this is his first start since December 2019. Mighty Giant, also International Day. More than this, his first up for the season as well, placed behind Golden 60 in all 3 legs of the Classic Series last year. So a big return for him as well. But we'll start off, though, with the headline act, and that is Golden 60. The man on board, he has been for all of his starts so far, and that's Vincent Ho.
Yeah, it's incredible, of course. It's just really happy what he achieved so far. But of course, we keep focused on each race and look forward for the upcoming races.
A length away, White Cuckoo from Mighty Giant, Southern Legend. Golden 60, he starts his run up 3 wide. He has 5 lengths to make up from Romanised and Simply Brilliant.
I was picking up gradually, and he just did it by himself. And then quicking up in the straight was good.
Ka-Ying Star, Admire Mars, Beauty Generations up at them 3 wide. White Cuckoo, Golden 60 outside of the 5. Admire Mars leads. White Cuckoo, Golden 60.
Yeah, he can quicken up really fast to his top speed, and he maintained it. So in just 2 strides. So it's a good feeling, of course.
Beauty Generations going a big race. Golden 60, he's hit the front now. He's half a length on White Cuckoo. He goes full beast mode. He's out by 3, Golden 60. Southern Legend runs on. This equine wrecking ball has demolished another field.
Rise High is also one of the best in Hong Kong for sure, and when I won on him in the Group 2 last season, it's pretty amazing too. He can do 21.6 in the last 400. Definitely a great competitor.
Rise High, White Cuckoo, get past Beauty Generation and Ka-Ying Star. White Cuckoo and Rise High. What an incredible battle. It's Rise High going home best, and Rise High from White Cuckoo.
Of course, another horse, White Cuckoo from Mr. Size, of course. Also had a run in the International Day. His fitness is gonna come up a lot more, and yeah. focus on each race, of course. Aim for the mile, and we'll see how he is, and after all the races, and decide what's on the next. Still have to talk to Francis and discuss with the owner and that.
Would you like to travel him overseas? Would that be the ideal situation?
Yeah, definitely, of course. But with virus, it'll be difficult, I think, this year. Let's see what's happening next year.
Well, we'll leave the future alone for a moment, deal with the present. Just looking back that win in International Day, he had an immortal-like Beauty Generation, local Group 1 winners in Waikuku and Southern Legend, last year's winner at Admire Mars, and he made mincemeat of them.
He did indeed. We went into that race, Andrew, thinking that if anything was going to beat him, it would come from overseas. A Breeders' Cup Mile winner in Order of Australia, the defending champ in the race in Admire Mars, as you say, and he toyed with them that day. I think he's the best horse here in Hong Kong, and I can't see him getting beaten. I think it's just a case of appreciating a great horse like we've had in previous seasons with the likes of Able Friend and Beauty Generation. Yeah,
and he just seems to keep improving every time, Leo. Every question that's asked for him, he just keeps raising the bar, gets better and better.
That's the staggering thing about him, that he's such a competitive animal as well. He seems to actually enjoy it, and the higher the bar is set, he seems to relish that challenge of stepping up time and again. And just to look at him, his competitiveness comes out, and he's such a great athlete as well, and complete package as far as I'm concerned.
You know, Vincent's in a unique position here, that he's ridden Rise High as well. 413 days off the track. He was, of course, the horse that ended Beauty Generation's run. But this is a fair ask to see him do the same to Golden 60.
It is. Golden 60 is still on the way up, Andrew, whereas in that race, Beauty Generation, I think Rise High got to Beauty Generation and the beginning of the end for Beauty Generation. But Casper Found speaks in glowing terms about Rise High. We know how good he is. It'll be great to have him back at the track, but it's a stiff task for him to take on Golden 60 first up.
Absolutely. Why Cuckoo, though, Leo? I mean, he was first up in December. Yes, it's going to be difficult for him, but second up now with that run under his belt, last year's winner, I mean, he's no pushover.
He's not, and he's a really tough horse, so typical of the mould from the stable. And he's someone who is going to go out there and make things as hard as he can for Golden 60, and you know that he's going to compete. And horses with that attitude, anything is possible. He showed it last year.
What about some of the others, Ed? More Than This, lovely horse as well, also from the Francis Lloyd stable, and Southern Legend keeps turning up and doing it time and time again.
He's running in this race for the fourth time in his career, Andrew. He's been placed in it before Southern Legend, so what a warrior he has been. And he was still running on really well in the Hong Kong Mile. He's trialled nicely since then. He's a place hope, but he's not in the same league, with all due respect, as Golden 60.
Yeah, so again, with due respect, as Ed said, Leo, they're playing for prize money. But Champions Way was pretty good winner of the Chinese Challenge Cup last time out, but he's badly off at the weights, of course.
Absolutely, and one horse that I'm looking at who's really in form, Mighty Giant, but then again, it's the class factor. This horse, Golden 60, the figures speak for themselves, and we're going to be talking probably about more statistics after this race on Sunday.
Yeah, well, he was 1.3 on International Day, Golden 60, so I imagine he's come up very, very short on Sunday. That's the mile then. What about the sprinters? They come a little bit earlier on the card as race number 5. Hot King Prawny was favourite on International Day. We'll have a look at that race in a moment. Voyage Warrior had a tough run. Jolly Banner, well, what a run he was. 80 to 1, give or take. Wishful Thinker flashed home behind Down on Smasher as well. Computer Patch disappointing as odds-on favourite down the straight last time out. Matthew Chadwick jumping back on board. Fat Turtle dropped back in trip. He was a pretty good run on International Day himself. Big Party, amazing star. Stronger ran well down the straight last time out. Buddies and Regency Legend, great to see him return as well. He's been a long time off the track, but looked very progressive in his early days. So the obvious place to start here is on International Day, Ed. Down on Smash the winner, but a whole host of them in behind. That's Big Party still cruising, Hot King Prawn in trouble, and Voyage Warrior just coming under a drive.
Well, I'm going to go for Voyage Warrior in the race here, Andrew. He loomed up to win at this point of the race, but he was 3 wide throughout. So the last 200 metres he was entitled to fade away. Still wasn't beaten too far. He's drawn a good gate here. He's been freshened up. Zach Purton takes the ride. But I know Leo's keen on Hot King Prawn, who hasn't been able to win from 6 goes at Group 1 level. Joe Moreira did make excuses for him for that run last time out, but I was still a bit disappointed given he was a hot favourite for the race, and I thought he had his chance.
He's been back to the trials though since. Leo, look good?
Look, I think he gets his chance on Sunday. His track and distance record is impressive. He hasn't done it yet at the elite level, but I think that this is his best opportunity. You look at the figures, his statistics, I think he's in the right place if he's ever going to do it. it's Sunday.
All right, this is the one. Voyage Warrior, Ed. I think we're both quite keen on this horse. He's drawn 1. He was still in front probably with a furlong to go. So he had a tough run on International Day.
He did. He had to cover a bit of ground, and then the start prior to that in the Jockey Club Sprint, he had a few excuses. So he said things go against him and hasn't been too far off them. I think he'll get his opportunity here, and he has won, beating Hot King Prawn at Group 2 level when you go back to April of last year.
If it wasn't going to be Hot King Prawn, though, Leo, I mean, Jolly Banner, what a run that was from him. Fat Turtle, Flash Time, Wishful Thinker, they're all in good form. They're all running well, aren't they?
They are. I love the Jolly Banner story. What a story it would be if he could get up and win a race like this at this stage of his career. A 9-year-old who's going so well and ran brilliantly behind Dan on Smash the other day. For me, that would be the story of the day almost if he got up and won this race.
It certainly would be. All right, and don't forget about Regency Legend as well. 392 days off the track. Great to see him return as well. We'll get Ed and Leo's tips a little bit later in the show. Still plenty more to come, though, as we head off to a break. We'll be looking ahead to the first leg of the 4-year-old series. Also on the retiring champ as well. Beauty Generation, we say goodbye on Sunday. Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Special guests Ed Sadler and Leo Schlink still with me. Their tips on the 2 Group 1s in a moment or so, but we've still got a small matter of the first leg of the 4-year-old Classic Series to have a look at as well. That is the Classic Mile, headed by Sky Darcy. Now level weights here, but you can see the ratings, and Sky Darcy clear here on 103. Won 3 of 4 so far this season. Excellent proposer. Won his first 3. Big disappointment last time out behind Not Usual Talent. And Rich Delight won first up 3rd in that same race. Not Usual Talent last time out. Healthy Happies hit the ground running. Tourbillon Diamond was a last start course and distance winner. Shadow here with a gear change. We're talking here from Zach Burton very shortly. Lucky Patch. Behind Not Usual Talent as well. Maximus, a good run at a price behind Circuit 3 last time out. Beauty Joy was good in his first run, and Zara, well, not so much. He finished last in that Not Usual Talent on his Hong Kong debut. But it does look like a great lineup here. Very open contest, even with the ratings taken into account. Ed, Casper Founds with Sky Darcy and Rich Delight looks to have a strong hand.
He definitely does, Andrew. I think he's got the 2 aces here, even though there's more depth than just those 2. Sky Darcy's been in terrific form. He started off with 3 wins and then had things go against him last time out. He encountered a couple of bits of interference in the straight last time on New Year's Day at Group 3 level. He still got to the line well, and I think he'll be better suited to the mile. Enriched Delight hasn't had the ideal preparation either going into his last run, but still performed well. Won first up, which is never easy to do in Hong Kong, and again is drawn to get every opportunity. So they're 2 of the main players in this race.
Yeah, and on Sky Darcy as well, Leo. He's probably a little bit unlucky not to be unbeaten. That run in the Chinese Club Challenge Cup behind Champions Way, who runs in the Stewards Cup Group 1. Mighty Giant behind him and Fat Turtle behind him. They also go in the Group 1s on the weekends. He has mixed it with some nice horses already.
He has. He's obviously a quality animal, and also another one of those horses with a great attitude, and he's not been far away last time, and before that you look at the picket fence. He's obviously going to be the horse to beat in my opinion. I think Ed might be going the same way, but for me, he's right at the top of the tree. Yeah,
he's drawn barrier 7 as well, with some of his rivals drawn a little bit wide. Tourbillon Diamond, Ed, I'll have to admit, though, I've been a bit of a convert with this horse. He looked pretty. He was good first up. He was even better second up. He was.
He was able to win on International Day, beating Circuit 3. That was a terrific performance. I'm with you, Andrew. I must admit, going into his Hong Kong campaign, I thought that he would be a little bit dour, a little bit one-pace based on what we've seen of him in Australia, but he's been able to run really well over 1,400 metres first up, win over the mile second up, and his Australian form proves that he's going to be a big player, not just in the mile on the weekend, but over longer trips throughout this series.
Yeah, well, speaking of Australian form, one horse that arrived here with a big reputation was Shadow Hero, already a Group 1 winner. Hasn't managed to win in 2 starts yet. We caught up with jockey Zach Burton at track work this week.
Well, I'm hopeful he's going to come out of the gate. His early trials here, he was jumping well and trialling nicely, and then we got the race day, and David spoke to his previous trainer and said that the horse really needs to have blinkers on, so we put the blinkers on him, and I just think that maybe he couldn't see the gate opening properly, because he just stood there and in both his starts with the blinkers on and let the other horses jump out before he did. So we took the blinkers off, and in that trial, as you've seen, he began well and put himself in a good spot. So we're going to go to the races without the blinkers, and let's hope that he can begin well and put himself in the race and make himself competitive, because he's not competitive when he walks out of the gates.
That was Zach speaking with Ed at Track Work this week. Lee, I know you've done a story on the website as well about Shadow here. The gear change, maybe a couple other things might be the difference this weekend?
David Hayes is certainly hoping so. The removal of the blinkers, putting on the winkers, and as Zach pointed out, a bit of visibility improvement around the horse getting out of the gates. His Australian form is obviously all black type wins back home, but he hasn't done it here yet. It's going to be a really big day for him on Sunday to see whether he can stand up. Yeah,
he's definitely got something to prove at this stage. The John Size pair, Ed, Lucky Express, an excellent proposal. I was driving the bandwagon for excellent proposal at the start of the season, but even I have to admit, that was a bit disappointing last time.
Did a tyre come off the bandwagon last time out, LJ? Yeah, I was with you on the bandwagon, certainly, but he was just too bad to be true last time out, and even I wasn't overly enthralled with his trial this week on Tuesday leading into the race. But what he'd done earlier on in the season to win those 3 races, and at times with things going against him to still win, he looked terrific. So I wouldn't write him off necessarily. Lucky Express's last run was huge. He had to cover a lot of ground. It was a big performance from him to still be placed. He's been consistent even if he's only won the 1 race. He's drawn a little awkwardly, but he's definitely a player in a race where there are a lot of players in this.
Absolutely. Sky Darcy's obviously got the racing lead already, but some of these horses haven't been here long enough to achieve that triple figure rating. So if it's not going to be him, there's a whole list of horses that could be competitive. Your Healthy Happies, your Maximus, a good run from him last time out. And Beauty Joy first up, that was an encouraging run also for the David Hayes stable.
It was. Didn't have any luck at all, and just caught in the traffic there a bit. And first time Beauty Joy tasted defeat off 4 wins in Australia, and I think this is one of the horses that could really jump out and make that rise. And yeah, you look at this field and there are so many chances, and Beauty Joy's one of them.
Celestial Power's been maybe a latecomer to the party. He's crept up on me a little bit, Ed, but he's won his last 2 starts. Is there still more improvement to come?
We'll find out. We'll find out how good he is against his own generation anyway when he races on Sunday. Andrew, that was a really tough win from him at his latest outing. He's lower in from a ratings point of view, but he's in winning form, so I can't knock him. I would think he's a place hope, certainly.
Another one of the possible, well, he might be a winning chance, Leo, is Lucky Patch. Again, he's down on the ratings, but it was a good run last time out. He'd won the start before, and he's drawn well. Some of the big names haven't. They've drawn awkwardly.
The draw is crucial here, like it is in every race, but particularly in a race like this where it seems to be so even and with form lines coming from everywhere. But this horse, he is so consistent and rarely does anything wrong. And if he gets the right run from his good draw, he can certainly be a factor.
And what about Maximus as well, Ed? He's got in off the reserve bench. Again, he was unbeaten before he arrived here. The rating needs to be up there if he's going to be competitive in the Derby itself, but still hard to write off after that last start effort.
That last start effort was very good, and it came about because of a change in tactics. They rolled forward on the horse. He kept on kicking. He was only run down in the last 100 metres of the race, and he's one that I'd like from the barrier trials leading into this Hong Kong campaign, even before he got to the races. So I think he's got a bit to offer.
Overall speaking as well, Leo, the Classic Money, obviously you want to win the race. There's a lot of prize money on offer, but it has been a good guide to the Derby itself. We go 16 for the mile, 1,800 metres, then the Derby. This has given us the last 2 Derby winners in Golden 60, of course, last year, and Furo the year before that.
Yeah, there's a bit to live up to, I should say. Yeah, it's a great stepping point, a great series, and Sunday is going to tell us a lot about these horses going forward. There'll be horses in this race at the weekend who will be making good ground late, and horses particularly suited over the Derby distance. They might be ones to factor in, but Sunday definitely is a D-Day.
Yeah, most of the horses we've talked about, Ed, have Southern Hemisphere form. The Northern Hemisphere horses like the Summits and Russian Emperor as well, they've only had the 1 start, haven't done a great deal. Are they a little bit behind the 8 ball?
Russian Emperor, I think I'll make more of a judgment on how he's going after Sunday. He did make up some ground last time out, and 1,400 metres was never going to be his trip. I personally think he's going to be a staying type of horse, that if he does anything here, it'll be over 2,000 metres and beyond. And the Summit, for me, the question mark is how does he go on the firm tracks here in Hong Kong, because that French form, a lot of that was on softer conditions.
All right, OK, well, I've got you then, Ed. Let's get the tips on the 2 Group 1s and for the 4-year-olds as well.
OK, well, Voyage Warrior for the first of the Group 1s, the Centenary Sprint Cup. He's drawn well, Zach Purton rides. I'm going to take on Hot King Prawn. Ricky Hughes won this race in the past with some pretty good sprinters as well too. Golden 60 we can't go against him in the Stewards Cup. And Sky Darcy, the pick for me, he's on top on ratings. Jay Moreira's had a few opportunities to pick a few other horses in the race, but I'll go with Sky Darcy, although Enriched Delight, Tourbillon Diamond, all legitimate winning hopes too.
Yeah, the list goes on, doesn't it? Leo, what are your thoughts then on the three big ones?
It's a little bit of a worry because I'm close to Ed most of the day, except with Hot King Prawn. I just think that his statistics make him the obvious favourite, and Jolly Banner, I really like this horse. Voyage Warrior, Computer Patch, Golden 60 is the obvious one. Hopefully it can be a really competitive race, but he's just a phenomenal animal. And I'm also with Ed in the last. Sky Darcy, excellent proposal, I think, can bounce back. Enriched Delight and Beauty Joy, there'll be a number of horses who will improve starkly off their last run.
There you go. Hard to go against Golden 60, isn't it? You'd be pleased to know your selections for the sprint is my one too as well. Let's look ahead though to what's happening not just on Sunday but in the weeks ahead as well. Of course, these Group 1s races 5 and race 7 for the Group 1s, Classic Mile race 8. Happy Valley Wednesday night, and then back to Sha Tin again next weekend. All right, that's just about all we've got time for. Ed, always thank you, and Leo, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you again in the future.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for watching. We're going to leave you this week, as we started with the show, with an emerging superstar in Golden 60, with one of the all-time greats here in Hong Kong. That is Beauty Generation. He heads to retirement at Living Legends in Melbourne, Victoria. Enjoy this then, and we'll see you again on Sunday with all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
Generation kept going. Elaine Paragon, Western Express trying hard. Beauty Generation takes the mile. Beauty Generation will not surrender. He fights on strongly, and Beauty Generation, what a sensational season he's had. And Beauty Generation takes the Champions Mile from Western Express. This is 100% pure Group 1 power. He is invincible, Beauty Generation.